Welcome to the check-in. My name is Brianna.
My name is Tandrea.
And this is our podcast where we just come to talk about mental health, self-care, whatever topics that are true to our hearts and what we have going on in our lives.
Yes, it is a podcast to hold each other accountable and basically check in with each other and just talk about what's going on in our lives, talk about things that have happened and where we just want to share our stories and spread the wealth.
Yep. So this is just where we could come in and just hope that we can hold space for new discoveries and healing.
Yes, a lot of healing. And definitely a lot of healing. We've known each other for 8 years.
8 years.
We were roommates.
8 years.
Yes, 8 years. We lived in the dorm together, lived in apartments together, sorority sisters.
Been through it all.
Yes, so
seen the ups and the downs and the arounds and all of that. So we're just
two creative people trying to figure it out.
Trying to figure it
every day
out.
So
every single day, two creatives, two black women identifying creatives who are trying to figure it out, who are also trying to deal with, trauma, who are also trying to heal and grow to be better for ourselves and our community. Is there anything else left out?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay.
Y'all will get to know us as we go. If you don't already know us, people that do know us, thank you so much for the support. And, share it with your friends, your family. Yes.
Yeah. So let's get into our first segment. It is called the highs and the lows. And this is where we come just to have gratitude and acknowledge where we're at. There's with balance, there's always highs in our life and there's also lows, so we can acknowledge both. I'm going to start with my low to end with my high.
Highs and lows of the day, the week, the month?
Ooh, I'm going to say the week.
Okay. Okay.
Do you have yours already? Because now it's left me.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So I guess I'll start with my lows too. The low of the week. I'm not even going to go into too much detail with y'all, but Mother Nature is not cute. And all week, I've just been off. I didn't know what was going on. There was so much fatigue. There's been a lack of motivation, and it's just weird. And so I think that was my low, and I can't wait for this to pass. I
don't know why I heard this too shall pass.
Two shall pass
in my head.
And then when it comes to my high, I got good news this week, and then we are recording this beautiful podcast. So with the podcast, I'm doing that. I'm also doing some design stuff. I can't go into any details, but
just know she's booked and busy.
I am booked and busy. So I think those are my
highs and
lows.
Yes. Okay. I still didn't figure it out yet. My low is that I've been having sinus flare up all week, where I wasn't able to go to work a couple days. So that's a low because money.
Yes, and money.
Money, we're not talking about that right now.
It makes the world go round.
It makes the world go round, and it's annoying that when you don't have it, it's the world's still going round, and you still have to go around, but you're struggling because you don't have the money to go around. Yeah. And sinus flare-ups aren't cool. We're still in a whole Pandarosa. So anytime you sneeze, people think you're infected. Or I just can't sneeze regularly. And also, I don't sneeze regularly. I sneeze a lot because it's a sinus flare-up. It's a whole thing.
Right.
So that's a low.
I can tag on to that.
A high. What's a high? I would just say a high that this week I just been doing a lot of healing and reflecting and realizing just realizing more of just who I am. Like, just this week has just been really reflective with having to sit down a lot because of the sinus flare-ups and everything.
Yeah.
Having a lot of time to like think and just be alone. So that was, I guess that is a high, you know, to feel more in tune with myself every time. So yeah.
Okay, good.
Oh wait, hold on. No. High. Yes, that was a high. That was a high.
No, that is a high.
That's
right.
a high. But last night I got to go to a Prince event.
Oh, she did.
I got to go to this Prince event. And that was just magical. Sitting in a room with a whole bunch of strangers and just listening to Prince. I love me some Prince. And I cried when Purple Rain came on, because when it came on, but like when he's playing the guitar and then he starts singing, you can hear him crying in it, like you can hear the light.
Oh yeah, that's
it just
deep.
I was crying, and I was trying to like, you know, it was dark, so I was like, you know, keep it G, like keep it, but no, I was crying.
Right, I would have stepped to the side. I gotta go to the bathroom really quickly because I'm gonna cry.
I know it was.
Excuse me. Oh, so my sinus flare.
No, my sinus flare. No, honey. I was boohoo crying. Like, I felt like Prince was singing to me. Like, it was 1980 whatever. And
no, that's so deep. When music gets to you that way, it's like, whoa. You brought tears. Out of me.
Like, think about it. If we were actually at the concert and him singing,
that's
and
why
him
these fans be fainting and
I would have fainted.
And
I would have fainted. I would have been those ones where they were, and they had to come and then like with the little stretcher. No, I would have been that person.
Please, oh my
if
gosh, my mom
my
used to have the VHSs of Michael Jackson's concerts, and the way those people were fainting, I said, "This is insane."
Yeah, I went to the Del Mar Fair. Had this Michael Jackson, like somebody impersonates, and they do a concert.
Yeah,
and you know, like that, and just hearing the music and hearing like the live performance and all these people, like seeing the visual too of all these people like passing out, crying. Oh my god, you feel that and you're just like, wow, this was real. Like, this was really real. People really go crazy. Like, I don't know, I've never experienced an actual performance where people are going crazy like that. Like, yeah, like, you know, I'm a fan, I'm, you know, loving it, I'm vibing, but I haven't been somewhere where everybody is so touched and like wanting to cry, or they're like about to pass out, or their like whole life is just like in shambles because they just can't believe that they're in this person's presence. Like, I haven't experienced that. So I want to, but I don't know an artist that's going to make me feel that way. Do you have an artist? Like, if you went to their concert, do you...
That I would get emotional?
Yeah.
I feel like there's certain songs. I don't know if there's a certain artist.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, Prince, Michael Jackson, less even like, you know, Sade, Whitney Houston, like they just the masses. Like, they have albums and albums, or even if it's one album, but it's like they have a whole collection of music that brings a whole generation to their knees. That's true. Yeah. I was about to go into the other person, but I'm not trying to get canceled.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
We can talk about it after.
Okay.
But anyways, yep. So next segment. Go ahead.
The next segment is Pay It Forward. So with Pay It Forward, it's literally just us spotlighting Black businesses, and it can be of any type of business. It eventually will get to the point where we're discovering new ones, or if people want to submit things that you want us to shout out, please let us know. So yeah, to start, I'm gonna do a friend and a fave. Yes, a friend and a fave. And my friend, I will start with Maya. We went to college together, fashion design students, felt like a cohort, so super duper close. And she started her own clothing line called Spring Ashley Studio. And she has a dress that is so fire. It's called the Sella dress. I have one, I just haven't got my look together.
I mean,
when I do,
you could do it.
No, I'm not going to do my little dance on the catwalk, not today.
Okay.
But I definitely will be posting it. And if not, you guys check it out. It's super duper cute. And she's just starting out. So show her your support, your love, a follow, anything. helps. And my fave is Sippin' Sonder. It is a coffee house in Inglewood, and I've been going there for like 2+ years now. And the moment I walked in, it just felt like a home away from home. The vibe is super dope. There's couches, tables, plants. They have the plants. The definition of Sonder, it's Black owned, woman owned, queer owned. So it's a very beautiful space, and they're thriving. So definitely check it out. It's in Inglewood on Market Street, called Sippin' Sonder. So Spring Ashley Studio and Sippin' Sonder.
Okay. So I have, in my head, me and this person are friends. She doesn't know it, but so a friend. Nirvana Wild, Jory, fellow Piscean, fellow yogi, made this beautiful 333 necklace. Like she has angel number necklace. She has a whole bunch of different jewelry that she's, of course, Black owned, woman owned. I don't know if she's queer. That'd be great. But anyway, but I love her jewelry. Her jewelry is like where something that's popular, if you don't get it when she drops, you have to wait.
Yeah.
And I had to stock this for a while, and it's non-tarnished. I wear it every day. I wear it in the shower. Like I never take this off, and it's still glowing. And that's sometimes hard to find when it comes to like inexpensive, but also like gold plated or whatever. I don't know the terms, but yes, love her jewelry. Probably going to get more. And then another, this is friend and
a fave.
Fave. There we go.
Oh,
the fave.
Okay.
Poppy and Rose, Black owned brunch. I just call it Black owned brunch restaurant. Love it there so much.
Yeah.
We've been there on a gal date. I've been there on dates. Like it's just it's nice. It's a rooftop. Well, because of the pandemic. Well, they have a rooftop without the pandemic.
I don't think they did. I don't remember.
Okay.
Honestly.
Well, when I went, it was still during. We're still in the pandemic, but. It was rooftop, and their food is great, and it's Black owned, so it's it's dope. I love me some brunch.
Yes.
So
brunch girls here.
Brunch girls, all the way. I feel like majority of our memories happen at brunch. So love going there, and it's so popular that you can't just go up there and just be like, oh yeah, like I want to see. Like you're gonna be waiting for an hour.
Yeah,
you have to
it
reserve.
Is very, very popular. Yeah, that's true.
So love that place. So
it took me a long time to realize that they're Black owned, and they have another location in Orange County, but it's called something else.
Really?
Yeah, it's a like completely different restaurant, but I guess still a part of the chain. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't. Yeah, I just knew. I heard Poppy and Rose, but I never. No. I think I've always heard it probably from you or something like Black owned, but I didn't like it was just like Poppy and Rose. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like that other Black owned food place that I can't eat at, but I know their chicken is fire.
Comfort LA.
There we go.
Well, see, look at you're trying to pay it a little bit more forward.
Okay, Comfort LA. I only been to an event there. I've never eaten their food. If you guys want to make some vegan food, that'd be great.
Yeah, you're vegan, yes, because they do cater to vegetarians.
I mean, plant-based, but like.
Yeah. I hear you.
I don't want just mac and cheese. I'm not talking shit though. That's just me.
Okay.
Just in general, like when people are like, "Oh, we got vegetarian options," like, I don't want just bread. That's what I'm saying.
I hear you.
That's what I'm saying.
They need to,
but they're great.
Yes, they're really good. I enjoy them. They have 2 locations, one in Inglewood, one in downtown LA, and then a food truck where they pop up at different events at the California African American Museum. But yeah, for the most part, Comfort LA is cool. But if you're the type of person that, since we are shouting out another business, if you're the type of person that only thinks about your grandma's cooking, your mama's cooking when it comes to soul food, I do not recommend, because that is the taste that you are going to keep in your mind and your mouth, and then you're going to say, this is not my mom's cooking. Of course not.
It's because your mom is not there.
Restaurant. So if that is the type of person you are when it comes to soul food, don't even do it to yourself, and just
don't go to any soul food place.
Right. Just stick to your mom and your grandma's cooking, because they do on their website promote it as like a clean version. They don't even say clean. I forgot how they say it, but it just wouldn't appeal to those people that are super judgmental with the soul food. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Period.
Yeah.
Okay. Next
is the topic.
Oh,
and y'all saw it's 20-somethings.
We're here to talk about 20-somethings.
A great way to start the check-in since we are in our 20-somethings.
Yes.
Figuring it out.
We just got over the hill. Just 26.
26.
My mom reminded me yesterday. She was like, you're just coasting in 27. Ma'am, yes. Hold on.
When I saw a text of somebody said, yeah, she's pushing 30. She's 26. Talking about somebody else. I said, that's me.
But also, I mean, nothing against being 30 because I'm excited to be in my 30s. Just this middle part, the 20-somethings, is not...
Yeah, it's ghetto, actually.
It's ghetto out here.
It's very ghetto.
And I just don't like how, like, people are just kind of just trying to throw me into the space that I'm not, like, ready to be in. Like...
It's okay.
Like,
26, you're just... Honestly, I don't even feel 26. I feel 23.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you're like, oh, yeah, you're coasting to 27. What is 26?
Right. It's just a middleman.
It's been more than 6 months of me being... No, it hasn't.
No, yeah, you've hit your half birthday, I believe.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I hit my half birthday, and I still don't understand 26. 25, understood. I didn't think I was going to understand, but I understood it. Yeah. 26, I'm just like, I'm here.
So does each year mean something for you?
Okay, not initially mean something for me, but there's more of like a... Like, there's expectation, like, 21 is like, oh, like, there's a certain type of vibe and shift, 23, like, it was like, for me, 23 was like, oh, 23, because I think I had such a vision of where I was going to be when I was younger at 23, and then I got to 23, and I'm like, that's completely off. So I think 23 was like, okay, and a lot was happening for me at 23. We graduated, like, a lot of stuff was happening, and then... 24 is whatever. 25, I know is supposed to be the expectation of like, oh, you're, halfway to 50 and all that stuff. It was, that wasn't the case for me. Like, I wasn't worried about that. We talked about this before. But a lot of healing was happening at 25 that was just like, bam, bam, bam. So, especially because of COVID and everything, like, a lot of stuff happened. 26 was... There was nothing. It was just 26. Like, there was nothing to prepare for, to look forward to. So it was just kind of like, people are like, oh, hi, I'm 26.
Yeah,
like,
I think for some people, they're on like, if they're on your parents' health insurance, I think 26 is that age.
Can we talk about that real quick? Hold on.
It doesn't resonate for me, but sure.
Okay, then I'm gonna just vent real quick.
Yes.
So the disrespect that the health community has for people transitioning from 25 to 26, as soon as you hit 26, they don't know you anymore.
Give you the boot.
They give you the absolute boot. Like, hold on.
Yeah, she has to go. Oh,
can I get my feet wet?
Midnight, take her off.
That it was legit. It's like they felt like they were like, okay, and it's my start. Boom. Like,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday. You're done. Go back to being a bum. I hope you figured it out because, before when you used to get these type of glasses, nope, you're keeping these glasses for another couple of years because you can't afford anything.
Ooh.
Damn. These glasses are overdue. Let me just say that. They're overdue. They keep hitting me up.
Oh, okay.
And they're like, oh, you're overdue. I know that. But guess what? When I try to book an appointment and you guys said that I don't have insurance anymore, so that's the only thing with 26, not having insurance because you get kicked off. Unless you have a job that pays for your insurance, which a lot of people do not have, you're screwed.
Yes.
I mean, you could do Medi-Cal and all that.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, depending on...
I haven't done it yet.
Your situation, you definitely could get Medi-Cal, and that's in Cover California. Take advantage of the resources outside of the stigmas of government assistance. They're there, so use them.
Right.
So that was the case for me. Like, we grew up on that. They let me go at 18. So I've seen Medi-Cal since the beginning. But for the most part, when you do make a certain income too, you can still go on Cover California. You just get to choose what plan you want. If that's like, and they'll show all the options and how much you want to pay a month if you're not like. So definitely check that out and create the profile, because then it could be HMO, and HMO
See, my problem is, like, I was here until you said how much you want to pay for it. That's the 20-somethings thing where it's like, I don't want to have to pay for this.
It's a little touchy, huh?
Because there's so many things I have to pay for.
20-somethings.
20-somethings.
Just wipe our pockets out when we're trying to figure it out. Just 10 years ago, I was 16, and now you just want all my money.
I don't understand. Like, at 25, my brain fully developed. And now you're asking me to do all these things? Hold on. No, like, chill. Like, I'm trying to get it together. I just graduated. I mean, something's in my eye. But I just graduated from college a couple years ago. Like,
they don't care.
They don't. They really don't. Because they didn't care when I was in college.
It's literally like throwing you out into the wolves.
Yeah.
You're just going to fend for yourself. Unless you have a very supportive family and network, amazing, kudos to you. But the 20-somethings for me is just like, yeah, go out there. Go there, baby, cuz. Right. You got this.
Yeah. It's like, you
take over the world.
We prepared you.
And then it's like, boom, boom.
Do you remember, did you watch the Amazing World of Gumball?
Oh, that sounded very familiar.
If you watched it, there was an episode where Gumball's brother was trying to, like, get him to, like, I forgot, like, stand up or be confident about something. So they're playing dodgeball. And Gumball was trying to do it, and the brother's fish was just, like, going at him with the dodgeball. It was like, boom, 1 point, boom, 2 points. It was, like, going in. And that's how I feel like it is.
Yeah, no, yeah.
It's, like, every time. But did each year of your 20s feel like anything for you? Like, did you have, like, a vision for each year?
Yes. I have these things about time, even though I know for some people it's like, time's an illusion. I have this thing when it comes to age, what I expect for myself, So the 20s for sure were like, 20, I don't think I expected anything of it. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm stepping into a new decade. Amazing. Let me have my fun. 21, I already knew the expectation from 21. I'm going to drink. Barely did that. And then I think after that, it was like other milestones. So in between, didn't really have any expectation. 25 was the year I was afraid of. COVID wiped that away from me. And wasn't really much to... be afraid of. COVID kind of helped with that fear.
Yeah.
Made up in my mind. 26, I did not have any expectation of it at all, but it feels very liberating and young for some reason. But yeah, each year I think when I
feel liberated and young?
Like, that's what I said. I really feel 23. Like, I just feel, I don't know why 23 keeps coming up, but I just feel like the stuff I was worried about in my early 20s, just like, no, you have other things to stress about. That's not that deep. Like, all that other stuff you went through, we're not doing that again, girl. Like, that's where I feel like life is great. And I have the choice. I have the power to do and deal with certain things that I already went through.
Yeah.
That was extremely disgusting. So, yeah. And just... disgusting is kind of a harsh word, but still, yeah,
it's ugly.
Yeah, and I think each birthday, I don't really reflect as heavy as I do for New Year's, but for each birthday, I think I'm just like, oh, within this year, I'll set certain goals for myself that I'll say within 25 or by 25 I want this and this. And then sometimes I have seen those goals manifest, sometimes I haven't, but putting it like on a whiteboard, I think those are the expectations I set for myself, that I'm like, okay, yeah, you've come into a new age, but what are you gonna do each year, like within your new age? So yeah, there's only like a few years that have done that have been like super impactful, but other than that, every single year it's like, oh, 23, I don't know what I'm expecting, but let me write something down to
So what's been your most impactful year then so far?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I don't know, because if we're trying to do the whole, like...
I feel like you're processing a lot right now.
A lot. Because if you're saying impactful, that could just mean a lot of things, like the mental, physical, emotional. There's something always off.
Okay, what if we did like a high and a low
of a year
of the 20s of our 20s? So like,
rude.
What's the high from?
You're so rude. I would say maybe 21. I think that was 2016.
Was that a high or a low?
Was a high.
Okay.
I want to say, I always refer to 2016. I forgot how old I was. Or I might have been turning 21. I don't remember. I think that was probably one of the best years because I was doing study abroad.
You did.
Yeah, that was the first time ever traveling internationally. My friend group was super strong. Yeah, I threw that shade out there. But the friend group was like super duper strong, but it was so much fun. Like, still have love for everybody. And okay. But no, yeah, 2016 was really, really good.
Yep.
The school year was really good. Zeta, that was like, with Zeta, we were just like, oh, let's do this, let's do this. Like, it was just a fun year. Like, I just had so much fun in 2016. A low, 2016/21. The low year probably was graduating. So how old were we?
23.
We turned 23.
Yeah.
Yeah, that year, that was 2018?
Yeah.
Oh, no, my bad. Scratch that. 2018 was still rough. 2017 was probably the worst. Okay. So 22, because there was just a lot of different transitions, and it had to do with other people, and that was very hard for me to deal with, and just like learn to heal from that, learn about myself from that, and then I was just, graduation just felt like doomsday in a sense, because I'm like, oh my gosh, college is about to end. Like, I was stressed going into my senior year, and what do I want to do, and where am I going after this? So 2017 was probably super duper hard because of those outside forces.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My low was the same year, the age 22 that was a bad year. Ooh, baby was on her toxic stuff like Drake, Brent Fayez. Who else? Who'd you say right now?
No, I was just copying Brent Fayez. That was very funny to me. Yeah.
Oh no. Also, but who else?
Toxic Future.
Oh
no, you weren't that.
I wasn't Future. But no, who's one who had a baby? But he don't. Bryson, yeah.
Bryson's toxic. Okay, we don't have to. This is not the music episode, but okay.
Okay, but like I was on. That's who I was listening to. Maybe not Brent Fayez, but like just that type of energy.
No, Brent's toxic.
Toxic. I was just doing things I shouldn't have been doing, acting in ways I shouldn't have been. I was not me. That was just not a good year.
Yeah.
And I was like, dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts and all of that. Like trigger warning. Sorry. That's what I was trying to like ease into, like, where I'm going next. Yeah, but that's what happened 22. My high year, I want to say, I'll say age 24. That's when I 23, 24. Yeah, like that 23, 24, because that's for me, like, coming out, and also doing, like, becoming a yoga teacher. My yoga practice was super heavy. I was in love and all that stuff. Like, all of that happened that year. Don't do me like that. Don't do me. But yeah, so like 23, 24, I'll say more 24 was like a really, really like I was like on my stuff. Like I was practicing yoga consistently. That's where I started like really diving into like my wellness journey, and like my spiritual journey was already started in like 23, but like 24 is when I really started like wholeheartedly like getting into it. Still not really understanding it all, but like really getting into like who I actually was I'm supposed to be doing on this earth. Which at the time I still didn't understand it, but it was just like a lot of my path was like coming to unfold for me. So that was a really good high. The healing journey is a high and low, because I was thinking like, but the year after was a low.
Right.
So yeah. You said what?
I said 20s.
Yeah, the 20s, because I'm thinking about like 20. You're 20. I don't remember 20. I feel like 20 was just, I don't know. Also, what year did 2017? That's when SZA's album came out.
Oh, and for 20-something. Oh, that's
20-somethings, but also like that album was, because I was thinking like that album was really impactful for where I was in my life, and it just resonated. Like I felt like she made it for me, because every song resonated to where I was going through, and I know I just jumped, but it was just it came to me where I'm like, you know, that album, when I play it, I go back to that space in life. Like I can like feel something now, but I really go back to that space in my life where it was just like, whoa, you're speaking to me. Especially 20-somethings or like what's the song? Garden?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And I want to say somebody said that song was like a note to herself.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Definitely. It was definitely a note to self, a note to that person. It was a lot, like, but it was really like shifting. It was just comforting. I want to say shifting. It was really comforting to like have that during that big old age that I felt like I was dealing with so much and all that stuff. And now I'm here and I'm like, no, there's so much more you still have to go through.
So much more.
There's so much.
The 20s are really a journey.
Yes.
Like they're really, really a journey. The entire process, and we're not even done yet. Like
no, because from 27 to like 30, that's when you have your Saturn return. And for those who don't know, that's where so I'm again not an astrologer, but from my understanding, your Saturn return I think is usually happen like 29 to 30, but like it starts kind of like 27 where you start really like a lot of the shadow work comes up. You know, it's kind of like a Saturn is about like rules, discipline, authority, like kind of it's like you're transitioning into your 30s. So a lot of stuff that if you do the work of everything, all that stuff, but a lot of stuff comes up from like your 20s. It's kind of like you're shedding and going into the new space. So like, you know, people who are into healing and stuff, you kind of a lot of times you like, oh, you notice a shift from their 27, like it's a terrible time. Let me say, from my experience, from seeing people, it's a very unearthing time. So you're really you're really dealing with your reflection and all the BS that you thought like, oh no, I'm good, I've been healing, I've been doing the work, and it's like, no, like here's the actual work to close this chapter, and then we're gonna start again at 30, but this chapter is over. It's like and even people who don't know, somebody I was talking to who was in that age range, I was like, a lot of stuff that they were dealing with, I was like, oh, your Saturn return is here. And it's just it's chaotic.
I see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there.
That's why I think I was always afraid of 27 before I even knew about Saturn return. Because 27, like, you know, when we were younger, we would say like, you know, what age are you afraid of? Tundra and our roommates would be like, oh, 25. For some reason, I was always afraid of 27. And I just did not understand. But I was like, something about 27 wasn't sitting right. I also thought maybe I was going to get pregnant in 27. I was afraid of that. But I'm not.
Oh, you're so funny. Yeah.
I mean, if I get pregnant at 27, that's divine intervention and the world is ending.
Shut up. Not the world is ending.
That's not the second coming, or like what is that? You know, it's not Jesus, it's the Antichrist. There we go. Oh, that's what's happening.
The rapture.
Like when it's like Mary had a little lamb, it would legit be a lamb.
Yeah.
So, Are you got a question, homegirl?
I guess so. Because we talked about, like, I don't know if we really talked about expectations or timelines or just what 20-somethings means to us. Whatever you want to talk about.
I mean, both. I mean, for expectations, I think I created this, I mean, we all do, but I created this fantasy when I was, like, in my teens, thinking that, like, by 23, I'm going to be married.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was younger, I watched Say Yes to the Dress a lot. So it was like, I already knew what dress I wanted. I knew where I wanted to get married. Also, going back to expectations, which is funny, when I was younger, I was really into church.
Yeah.
I was heavily involved there all the time. Even, like, my high school friends, like, who didn't go to church with me, obviously, were very, like, surprised at how I live my life now, because how I'm complete opposite of where I was in high school, like, with spirituality versus religion and stuff.
Yeah.
So at 20-something, I thought I was going to get married to a man from the church, a man who was Seventh-day Adventist, and we were going to have kids by 25.
Yeah.
And then, they were going to be in Pathfinders, and they were going to go to Sabbath school, and, we were going to keep the Sabbath, and and we were going to go to all, like, the camper, like, everything that Adventist people do.
Right.
That was going to be my life. I was, like, keeping it open to be a preacher's wife or something like that. Like, I was ready to do all of that because I just really thought that was going to happen. And then I got to 20 and I was, like, not going to church anymore, but I still thought that it was like a struggle of, like, do I still want this or whatever? Then got to 23, not married, happy about it. Got to 25, no kids, happy about it. Not wanting a man anymore, happy about it. And the only expectation I think I also had, I thought I was going to have a house by now.
Okay.
Yeah. And now my expectations of 20s are where I'm supposed to be at. It's like I want a house, but now I'm like, I want to travel. Like, I want to live life. Like, I want to, like, explore and see the world. Like, I want to like have, like, when I do have a house, I want to have, like, a garden, and I want to be somewhere, like, a little, like, on the outskirts. I think I still have a fantasy because we're in this shitty world where nobody could buy a house. And I'm following people.
Unless you want to move to Iowa or Indiana, that's not a problem.
I want to be around black people, and being around black people in California and trying to buy a house sometimes doesn't always, especially a house that you want. It's like your dream house is not always able, especially in LA.
It's definitely hard for sure.
So I still have expectations right now. I'm in this space where I'm like, I just really want to travel and explore myself more. And even when it comes to, like, my childhood expectations of getting married, I don't really care to get married. Like, I'm fine that if I do want a partner. But if we just are partners and we don't actually, like, do the whole wedding and the whole big shebang, I'm fine with that. But when I was younger, it was like, I need to be married. I need to have kids. Even with kids, it's like, I always want to have kids. I'm still want to have kids. But I'm not going to be disappointed if I don't have kids.
Right.
Like, I'm just, like, in the space I'm in now, it's like, if me and my wife,
whatever happens, happens.
Right. Because even now, I'm like, I don't even know if I want to carry a kid. Like, it's just, all the stuff, it has changed since those expectations. So it's a complete shift from when I was younger.
Okay.
What about you?
My timeline, of course, outside of me setting goals each year, I did have a timeline, but that went out the window the moment I got to college.
Really?
So, because when they gave me the timeline of how long I was going to be at Cal State LA, I was like, you're throwing off the trajectory. And then...
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah, like, they threw that off. As I went through the curriculum, I'm like, something doesn't feel right. Went through a breakup, so that threw off the trajectory. I'm so funny. But yeah, like my relationship with the church then too, it was very, I'm going to get married and have kids and oh my gosh, my first love. This is so cute. No. So my timeline went out the window a long time ago, and it was like, this is way bigger than me and out of my control. So I kind of gave up on a timeline, but just for my personality of trying to be as organized as possible, I might create another one and be like, yeah, by then I want to do this.
Right.
But at this point, I'm at the age of like, I'm just writing that down just for the sake of it.
For the sake of it.
But I'm not holding a whole bunch of weight of I need this by, like, I would prefer to have a baby within these next 4 years. Just because I don't want to have a baby at 30, even though I know that's totally fine. I just don't want to. But I'm also accepting of, if you do, you do. It is what it is. Like, so I don't really have any expectations now, but yeah, I don't have any expectations for my 20s at all because I just feel like it's been so ghetto. Like, it's been a mess. But it's also ghetto fabulous. So,
it's ghetto fabulous,
like,
right.
There's things that are just no fun, but there's a lot of fun that comes with it too. So, yeah.
I mean, even like, for me, I think when I was younger, when I was even 16, 17, even 18, well, before coming to college, because I think I turned 18 before. No, so I'll say like 15 through 17.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to be in Atlanta. I thought I was going to go to Spelman.
Same. I thought I was going to Clark.
Yeah, I thought I was going to go to Spelman. I was going to be surrounded solely by Black people. I was going to live like that, like Atlanta lifestyle and all that stuff. Like, I, did not expect me to be living in LA for the past 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like that threw me off as well, because even when it came to I remember having talks with my best friends and being like, oh yeah, like I'm gonna buy this house in Atlanta. Like I would go on the Atlanta house market and look at what houses I wanted.
I look at Zillow every day and I've bought a house.
Yeah, exactly. And I had that that whole lifestyle.
I see myself walking through the kitchen and everything.
Right. Exactly. And I was like, oh, the price range here. And I was like, oh, if I have kids, they're gonna go to this school. Like it was all of that. And I'm here now, and I'm like, no. It was cute. It was very cute. But no, your 20s is where you really just realize, wow, that's shady. Ghetto.
Oh, and then that from your mic. Your hair, yeah.
20s. But I'm just gonna take these off because these were giving me a problem the other day.
Okay.
Thanks, Target. I just, with the 20s and everything, I just realized that a lot of what you think is going to happen is not going to happen. It's like really having to like unlearn what we're taught of, like, oh, we're planning out our life and this, like, especially like for us being creatives, we can't go the trajectory route of like, oh, you want to be this is what you do. You go to school for this many years, you do this, and then you're a part of this program, and then now you are a doctor. You just have to like go into it or whatever. Like, being us knowing like from younger age that we want to be in a creative field, even if like, well, you knew more of like fashion, like you knew. For me, I was still trying to understand like where I wanted to be as a creative, and I'm still going back and forth with trying to figure out like where is my lane on creativity and all that. But 20s, I really had to come to terms with the fact that like I don't want to do the okie dokie stuff, and I was never made to do okie doke. I was never made to follow rules and this is what you're supposed to do, even when I had a whole plan of what I could do, and here's a degree, and I can go to here and do that. It just never felt right for me. So, like, being in a space where I really had to learn, like, oh, I always felt like the oddball and, like, a black sheep. That's what that's my role. Like, not role, but, like, that's, like, not normal, but it's like I'm not supposed to just fit into the mold. Yeah,
and that's fine. Like, I think 20s are very experimental. Whatever you're experimenting with, if it's like, okay, I'm going to go this creative trajectory, you have room and time to say, I'm going to go this route. That didn't work. I'm going to go here. That didn't work. You just have to be okay with yourself.
Right.
In those decisions, like, of not fitting the mold. For me, sometimes I wish the simple life made sense to me, but
right,
being a doctor does not excite me, and
no.
I'm not going to be happy, and I don't want to turn into a bitter person by doing something I don't want to do.
Right.
So, and it still is a challenge of learning what I want to do, being like going through this unlearning, learning
again,
careers, like all types of stuff. It's very complicated. But I'm glad that it's happening now. So I can get through it.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I feel like growing up, there wasn't nobody told me that there was space to mess up and figure it out. And also, I just know I've always been the type of person that's like, this is what you're supposed to do. Here are the rules. This is what I'm going to do. And I'm going to follow the rules, and I'm going to get that A. I'm going to get that, like, that gold star. Like, I just naturally the responsible one. If this is a responsible thing to do, if this is going to be security, this is what I'm doing. And then in my 20s, I really had to fight that desire to be like, okay, this is what I should be doing. This is a secure route. But there's something in me that's like, no, this is not right. And this is not where I'm supposed to be. And then to allow myself to like go on a different route is hard. And I still deal with it every year of my life of like falling into like, okay, here's a safe like path. But then it's like, but this is not, it doesn't feel right. It feels like I'm trying to fit into something or do something to appease, to make like, you know, just that fight. And that's not the case. And it is like, and I'm in a space now where I'm having to talk with my inner child and everything and be like, all right, you were afraid a lot of years to be yourself. Right. So now you are in your mid 20s or whatever, you're really just gonna have to thug it out. Because you like 30s, like in my mind, like expectation for me in 30s is to really just be out there with it. Right. Just all the way out there.
As you should.
Right.
Even now.
Even now. But it's like now it's like I'm in a place where I'm like, okay, really understanding, all right, that didn't work. I understand more of who I am really, really well. We're going to thug it out and we're just going to have fun with it and we're going to step into it. And it's like I have an extra like something in my arsenal now to just feel confident. Like I'm in a more confident space. Before it was more of a just like trying to understand, being super aware of things and trying to like you know, put the pieces together. Now I'm like, I know I don't have all the answers, but I'm confident in who I am and what I'm doing. So like,
and also back to the whole subject at hand, 20-somethings. We're not supposed to have all the answers.
We're not.
Like, we're not supposed to know it all. We're not supposed to have all the answers. We're not supposed to just have it all figured out. And thinking about that transition of like, this is the second decade of us on this earth. Like, so it's like thinking about that process of our development going from 18 and then go to college, the trajectory for what the American dream, I guess. Right. Now you have these bills to pay. Now you have to learn all this other stuff. Your brain's still developing, but I'm going into adulthood learning about me, and you're telling me that I'm supposed to have it all together. I'm supposed to master a craft. I'm supposed to no, we're not supposed to have the answers. No. We're figuring them out. Right. And even when we figure them out, scratch that. Like, that wasn't it. Like, right.
Yes. So that's so hard for me personally. Like, it was so hard for me to understand that, like, part of me knew, it was like, oh yeah, you're supposed to just figure it out. But something you just said, I can't remember exactly how you said it, but it's just like being able to be like, oh no, scratch that, or, you know, like, oops, you messed up. What? Like, the energy I grew up on, oops, you messed up, failure. You got to go back home. You got to figure, like, you know, that type of stuff. And it's like, now I'm in a space where it's like, it's okay. Like, I'm having fun and figuring out and stumbling and stuff like that. But before,
this perfectionist, and then learning, doing a research paper in school, by the way, about perfectionism. I don't know why I did that, because that started the unlearning and learning process. And there's different types of perfectionists: maladaptive, adaptive, and maladaptive is the negative perfectionist, and that was me. So, right, I did a whole in communications, did a speech on it. They're like, do an informal one. I said, I'll learn about me. This is not cute. So, yeah, so being like a maladaptive perfectionist at that time, it's like, if this does not go right, then everything went wrong. And just learning how to navigate through that, being involved in different groups and organizations, and working on my perfectionism, like, that doesn't even make me feel good. Like, like just learning in that way, that how you said, if this doesn't happen, then it's a fail. That's how I feel too. Like, I might go into a creative venture and then I'm like, oh, that didn't work. Like, now people have to see that it didn't work and that it failed. And then I'm thinking about other people, and then it's like, because my parents, they just were like, do whatever the heck you want to do in life, which can be amazing but also directionless and stressful. So with that, it's like, okay, now I'm doing these things and they're not working, and people might be judging me, or people might be like, what the heck is going on? And I'm at the point that it's like, I don't know what the heck is going on, but I have to do something to figure out what is going on. And if you rock with me the whole time, dope. If you don't, dope. Like, it doesn't, I gotta figure this life out, and I gotta figure out why I'm here and enjoy the process of figuring that out.
Right. And you know, it's interesting, because it's like, I feel like we are in a special, also very weird space where, like, or not space, but like time in life where a lot of the younger people are like, we are doing what we want to do, and we're going to be entrepreneurs, and we're not going to follow the path. And it's like, before, it's like people who are still following the path of like what society says you're supposed to do, and have that security in the house and the da-da-da and everything. And then we have right after us, people are like, no, we're not doing that. Like, we're going to stay single or not have kids till we're 40, and that's the new wave. Like, you know, we're, you know, stuff like that, which is not a problem, but it's just like, I noticed that's like the thing, or like, you know,
because we're in the middle of like 2 generations to a degree, and then think about what our parents' generation was as well.
Exactly. So it's like, it's a new wave of things, and trying to understand, like, okay, millennials, not Gen Z, but I like what they're doing. Okay, but also they're doing a little bit too much. And then also still with the mindset of like, okay, I want to be creative and do this and go off in different ventures. And okay, that didn't work out. Okay, that's cool. Let's try this. But then also, you're a whole grown up. How are you going to pay your bills?
And when they figure it out, I'd be like, wow.
Right. Like, to the people who are, I don't know if they're raised, if they have that gusto or whatever, to be like, oh yeah, I'm an artist, that's what I'm going to do. And I'm just going to go out there and put it in, and they succeed. All power to you. That has not been my path. No, the people that take a risk, I definitely admire you. My brother, I'm a risk taker, but I still have to be like very strategic. But Malachi, I'm over here giving government, but that's okay, because y'all gonna see him on TV, because he's taking risk. And he just said, you know, after this path, after he was done with the military, he's like, I'm going full throttle with acting, and just took the risk. So like, people that can figure it out, more power to you. Right. We're still going through our process. Like, with it. And I feel like for us, like, we've witnessed our processing through different modalities, like, through so many, and even still staying true to who we are, but like, oh yeah, we're trying this out, and then we're seeing, you know, and it's been a very beautiful thing to see us still come here together.
That is
and
very
then,
true.
Like,
and full
circle, and a lot of things are still full circle, where it's like, we're trying a new adventure, and you're like, oh, but that reminds me of something you were trying to do when you were younger.
Exactly.
And it was like, oh,
exactly.
Okay, because for me, I feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
We're just here in front of this camera.
Hey now, and just trying to figure it out. And then when you have those reminders, like, no, or like when people are like, oh, you seem to have it all together, like, this makes sense. And I'm like, oh, this makes sense?
Right. No, when I get those comments, it's so funny, because sometimes somebody from my high school that knows another person that like, that I'm not close to, they'll be like, yeah, Tondrea just has it all together. No. Life is like, there's times life is falling apart.
It's so crazy because it falls apart and comes together. It falls apart and comes together. And even with the fall apart, there'll be times where it's like, oh no, this makes sense.
Right.
And then they come together, it's like, oh yeah, that makes even more sense because it fall apart. And I'm like, I'm glad I have some people that can tell me that.
Right,
and you're one of those people because I'm...
Me?
Yes, girl.
Oh.
You be telling me... Me? Yes, because you be telling me and I'm like, oh, okay, I'm glad it makes sense to you because tell me something because I was just going to keep crying every night till I figured it out.
I mean, I'm all for people and they're like... When people tell me their dreams, it just gets me super excited. So I'm always going to remember what's going on. And I'm like, okay, they took a different path, but that's not... I remember what you said, girl.
You be remembering a lot.
I be remembering.
You be, whew.
Yes.
Sometimes like, you didn't need to remember that, Tondrea.
Yeah.
You didn't need to remember that. We could have just kept that in the past because they blacked out for me. I needed it to black out for you.
Right. Some years in our 20s.
Some years in our...
Men in Black.
What about like even friendships? How has your trajectory, I'll say, of friendships changed since 20s? Yeah, your 20s and everything.
Good question. Yeah. I feel like my friendships have gone through shifts, definitely. I remember the beginning of 20s, I was like a little bitter, like, oh, I don't have friends that people have had since they were like 5. I had always wanted those kind of relationships. But now, all of my core friendships, we have every single person has over 5 years, like, under that. And if they don't, those are people that I value wholeheartedly. So, I definitely feel like my friendships have strengthened. They've gone through different things. I've been in my head about them and just making stuff up in my mind. But I'm not the type of person that's like super messy with it. I just let it be what it is. Like if I feel something's off, I let it be off. But I'm not going to go around and be like, girl, what happened to our friendship? I don't ever heard no more. Like if we don't click as... Like, if there has been a friendship that's very temporary, because even I feel like college, you get a lot of temporary friends. You come to LA, you get a lot of temporary friends. I just let them come. Like, come and go. That was fun. Cool. But I definitely feel like my friendships have gone through different shifts or just strengthened. I've lost a few. Like, compared to all the ones I have, when I really look at it, it's like I haven't really lost that many that I could sit there and say, you are my friend, and that hurt me. So right. Like, so for the most part, I think I'm very blessed. And they all fit different pockets of me because I'm a very complex person.
You gotta speak it.
Yes, and it's like there's people that's like, okay, you're not here for this, but you are that friend. Or, like, they're just all very different. I've learned in my 20s not to mix friends. That is what I've learned in my 20s. That I'm not mixing friends. Once you learn their personalities, let their personalities be their personalities. Even if you're like, I think you would be so great with this person, let them interact naturally, but don't force it. Because that just didn't really, that was probably the biggest takeaway with friendships in my 20s that did not go well.
Okay. Dang it, I had another question. It was something on the lines of like, what is like what do you need out of your friendships? Like, people are like, oh, like if you're looking for a partner, what do you need from that relationship? Like from friendships, like what is something that you need to sustain your friendships?
Bree, I don't know why you're asking me this question because that's a lot to unpack, and
it's just coming to my head because I'm just thinking about like going, like, because friendships are very, 5+ years and everything. Like, what is important for you, and what's important for you in friendships then?
A judgment-free like zone, really. Humor. Accepting, like, with like judgment, just being accepting of different personalities, conversation. I go up and down with quality time. Not really big on physical touch. Never have been.
How you go so awkward when you just talk about it?
Just a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I just, once I have a friend, it's like, I don't want to lose that person. Like, it's just like, I don't know. I just value who they are, and I love that they're themselves. I love that they allow me to be me. And, like, when I just think about friendships, it's, I chose you as my friend, so I chose your quirkiness. I chose every and anything about you. Like,
got you.
The flaws and the strengths, like, anything. That was really weird.
People just do extra for no reason.
But yeah, I think what I value is, what's important to me is the authenticity, making me laugh until I cry, like, please. And talking about everything, like, just talking about any and everything. If you're the friend that's like, oh, I'm going to come to Sonder and we're just going to talk about boys. Nope, you are not my friend. We need to be able to talk about any and everything in the book. So, for the most part, support as well. Like, you don't have to be my cheerleader to, like, the 10th degree, but still rooting for me, giving me any advice that I need to be able to feel comfortable. Like, if I cry in front of you, how are you going to handle that? Like, if it gets dark, how will my friends handle that? So I don't know. That probably didn't answer your question in, like,
no, but
straight
you answered
answer,
it.
But
well, that was good.
You asked me 2 questions and I haven't heard from you.
I don't even remember what I asked now.
Of course you didn't. I just been talking now. I forgot. You said you asked about friendship.
Yes, friendship.
And before friendship, what did you say?
I think I asked what changed in no.
What I don't think it had to do. Oh, no, you did. Okay, yes. So the first question was just like, what has friendship been like in your 20s and what's important to you with friendship? With friendship.
So what has friendship been like in my 20s? I'm over here listening, trying to be like, what is it? And when you're supposed to listen to people and not, like, think about what your rebuttal or your answer is going to be.
Listen to understand and not to reply.
Exactly. Right. So, doing that, and I didn't think about my answer. But my friendships in my 20s have been, they've been great. Like, it's not like I had, like a lot of bad breakups of friends and everything. Right. It's been more of, like, I'm the type of person that once I like somebody, I'm, like, very, like, glued. I'm like, all right, this is my friend. I have multiple friends, but I'm the type of person that's like, if I had just one friend, I'm fine. And I, for years, always had my best friend, who I'm still best friends with. But when I moved to LA, she was still, at the time she went to Alabama right after for school, and then came back to San Diego. So it was like I had her, but I didn't have her here. My top love language is quality time. So who is not whoever, but it's who. When it comes to friendships or any type of relationships, if there is quality time put into it, that's where I'm just, like, fired up, because I like to do a lot of things, being a very complex individual, where it's like I want to do hiking, I want to do yoga, I want to do arts and crafts, I want to sometimes I want to go out, sometimes I'm very introverted, all the different ways of being who I am. So it's like, when it comes to friends, I feel like, what I'm trying to say, especially in college, like, fleeting and everything, but I feel like I kept my core friends since college. Like, it's been of course, from the beginning, you and Vanessa have been my friends. And one thing I really have valued is the fact that me being who I am is, even though I love quality time, I'm also the type of person, like, when I'm not in the presence, I'm kind of like out of sight, out of mind. And it's not, it hasn't been from all of my true friends, has not been any, like, spite of, like, oh, you don't want to talk to me, or you this or you that. It's like, people who know my heart knows, like, it's not that. It's just like, if I'm not here physically or whatever, unless like I'll think about you and I'll text you or whatever, like hit you up, but a lot of times I'm just in my own world. So, or I'm at work, because also workaholic, that could be another episode, but workaholic. So if I'm not working, I'm just like in my own world. But I do appreciate that, like, from my 20s, that I've had a good core group of people who, even when I'm not being present, we still come back to each other. And that's been very, very good for me. It's like, you know, it's like, I really got to understand that, like, oh, even though I had these friends in high school who I thought were going to be my friends for a long time, I thought they knew me really well and everything. Right. And so I should have started there. I had these group of friends who I was really, really tight with, and even though we're going to different colleges, I still felt like at least one of them we were going to be super tight. Right. And they were the one who betrayed me the most. So I was I was like kind of like starting over when it comes to friend groups, and I was open to it, but not open at the same time. Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, it's college, it's different, but my natural ways was like, but I don't really trust people type thing. But then when I do get excited about somebody, I'm like, I have to fight myself from not being like, all right, we're together. Right. Especially because a lot of my male friends, cool, but I have a lot of women friends, and, you know, women in the alphabet community, U-hauling does not just only go to relationships for me. Oh, okay. I will U-haul my friends.
What does that mean?
So U-haul for lesbians.
Oh, okay.
Means that as soon as they meet you and they like you, it's like, okay, we're spending all this time together. We're gonna move in with each other.
Oh,
we're gonna,
yes, you know that?
You know that? I U-haul my friends.
That's when I listen to the Ruiz. She be saying, "Oh, lesbians, they just fall in love in 2 seconds."
2 seconds. I do that with my friends. People who are real, like who end up being my friends for a long time. I do that with them.
And I don't think that's bad, depending on, like, you know,
the friend and everything, right? But like, save like you and I, if we would have been friends outside of being in the dorms together, I would have been like, ma'am, let's hang out, ma'am. What are you doing, ma'am?
No, I mean, we were like, no. I mean, I feel like that definitely was us in the dorms too.
Yes,
but then me in my and then me like in my. I don't know if it's my Gemini ways. Should I just blame it on that? No, I'm playing. I won't. But no, my personality in general, I just started like freaking out. Like I would freak out and be like, okay, this is very restricting. Like the moment somebody starts asking me questions about other people, I go, oh, I'm spending too much time with them. Even though I love you wholeheartedly.
I get that. And it's something I had to learn when it came to being in my 20s and being who I am and everything. Because I also, like, with that, when it comes to friends, less romantic people, but, like, friends, when I do feel something for somebody, I'm just, like, open. And I'm like, this is me. Pour it out, all that stuff, and I had to learn boundaries when it came to friends. Because I'm like, I'm giving you everything. I want you. I'm a U-haul you. I need you to U-haul me back. You know. So I learned a lot. Where now it's like, when it comes to making friends, it's like, you know, you meet them at work and everything, but I'm not so pressed as I was before to try to make lifelong friends. I think when in my early 20s, I was trying to make lifelong friends.
And I feel like just the things that I've gone through in high school, friendship has always been a little touchy for me. But now that I've gotten through majority of my 20s and I see who's still here, that's where I'm like, I'm good. Like, like I feel like what they do say, your friends might not last after high school, which is very unfortunate. But if they do, that's amazing. If you've had them around before that, that's even better. But the friends that you make in college, like, that's any friendship, I guess. But in college, those are your 20s. You're learning about yourself. You're unlearning about yourself. And the people that you meet and they become genuine connections, hold on to those. Like, whatever you go through, figure it out and just, like, hold on to it. But
it is. I think it's the reason why, like, because I was in my head, like, oh, you could do it outside of college. But I think at least for our situation, that being in college, there was no place to hide.
Right.
Like, even trying to figure who I was and, like, figuring myself out, you all saw it. The hurt, the happy, the sad. Yes. I got an F on a paper. Like, all the things, it's like there was no hiding.
True. Yeah. That is very true.
So it was easier.
Because in high school, you get to hide and go home to your family. And your family knows you up, down, all around.
Right.
So that is true. You're not hiding in front of these strangers.
You're not.
They have their own families, their own upbringings, their own morals and values.
And you have to come together united and, like, you know, like, who likes this type of milk? Remember, for a minute we all had a whole bunch of different milks. Like, we bought the same milk, but it's like we grew up differently. How do you clean this? How do you clean? How do you clean? How do you this? You learn so much about yourself.
Yeah.
Where I think that's why, like, it just kind of, like, came together, because I think after, like, you know, getting into school and everything, it was like, okay, my roommates were my friends. Yeah. Like, I had friends who were in class, but they were not important to me.
Yeah, right. No,
like, only my roommates who became my friends, and that was y'all. And it just worked out to, even, like, after we moved away from each other and everything, it's like, again, I'm just the type of person I am. I'm not pressed to make friends. I like making friends. Yeah. When I make friends, it takes me a minute to realize, like, oh, no, this is a genuine person. Like, even if I get excited about him, now still, like, with discernment of, like, oh, okay, this is genuine. Oh, they're making effort. Oh, okay, even now as, like, 25, 26, that age range, it was like, oh, somebody actually likes me? Really? Like, they actually want to be my friend? Like, it's a different space. Like, I remember I would say, like, I had a friend recently who, before, it was like, oh, yeah, my friend from work, and I'm like, my friend.
Yeah.
Not from work, my friend. Like, they actually want to be my friend.
Yes.
And that's cool.
Yes.
To know that. And just to answer the other one, what's important for me to be friends, I already said quality time. Of course, honesty, being open-minded, being versatile, being creative. Now, another thing is queer. Like, that's really important to me. Like, even if you're not being, like, queer, I'm about to say queer adjacent,
right?
But even just, like, just being just so open to who I am and all the complexities, and just being yourself.
Yeah,
you know. But also, like, I like being out in nature, so I like friends. I'm learning now that, like, if I am making friends in my now being later 20s, we need to go on adventures. So if you're trying to be my friend, we need to go on adventures. Like,
I love adventures.
Yeah. That's something that's really important.
Yeah, I do love adventures. I have a question.
Okay.
So, how has your morals, values, whatever, shifted throughout your 20s up to now? Like, just you outside of the relationships, like, you've gone through all of these experiences. So how does that relate to you as yourself?
So values.
Anything.
Anything.
Morals,
or how
values. Like how you said authenticity and all these other things.
Right.
Just what's important to you.
And more important to me. Dang, now this is how it's supposed to be put on the spot. See? I'm kidding. Okay, not kidding. Well, just really tapping into who, like, of course, your 20s you learn, but, like, you know, tapping into who I really am at a time where it wasn't like, you know, now I'm like, okay, I'm intentionally trying to go into who I am, but at that during the 20s it was like, oh shoot, this is who I am. Oh hi, like, you know, learning and everything, knowing that spirituality and wellness is very important. It's like all of my life, and when it comes to, like, what I value, if people are not in a growth mindset, and not on that, like, hotep stuff, but, like, if you're not for me, I love to talk, obviously doing a podcast, but I love to talk about, like, the inners, the like, tell me all your secrets, like, you know, your emotions, like, Pisces stuff. Like, I just love talking about, I love talking about myself. I'm gonna just say that. I love talking about myself. I love talking about what I discovered. I love talking about how I'm feeling, how I, didn't know how to feel. I love talking about that, and I love talking to other people who love talking about themselves. So, and that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're gonna be around me, substance. And where it's like, I need you to be able to hold space. And I hold space for like me and my emotions and all that stuff, but not in it like you're just gonna carry it all. But like hold space for me to be me. And then I hold space for you to be you, and we like come together and all that stuff. But like if you don't like, you don't have to, okay, no, you do need to have like a going trajectory in life and everything, but like how I see purpose is being your full self every day, like just trying to learn how to be your full self, because then everything else comes out of it when you are focusing on just stepping into your full potential. So it's like, if you are not purpose driven in that way, it's hard for me to actually connect with people. Like I'm learning that like when I was younger, especially like 20, I was like, oh, I'm deep and all that stuff, and like I'm not like these other people, all that BS. But actually owning where it's like, yeah, I like material things. Yes, I love to eat. If you want to hang out with me, we need to eat. Food's very important to me.
Right.
So like that like, just how I communicate, how I congregate. There we go. I think the other one was about sex. Anyways, but yes, how like community is really important to me. Before, it was in my 20s, especially in college, it was like, but I didn't understand the meaning, and it was like kind of like I have to do things on my own, all of that. But like being in community is really important to me. Being about what you're about is really important to me, whatever that is. If you're about dogs, lizards, e-commerce, if you're about rocks, like whatever you're about, like what are your passions, and let it be known. If you're trying to figure them out, cool, but it's like that place of discovery and just really being about yourself is something that's I've learned after years is really important to me. So that's like something that I really, really value, because there's people who are like, you try to talk to and they're just so dull for me. I get you. And I like to feel like my best relationships, platonic or whatever, feel sacred. Like I feels like how I always have been able to describe my knowing that we're friends, knowing that we're cool, knowing I can trust you, is if there is a big cafeteria and you're already sitting, like my friend is already seated down, I know when I go to that person, there's a seat waiting for me. If you're telling me, oh, there's some seats over there, nah, I don't like that. No, okay, cool. But I'm the type of person that's like, you are like my person type thing, or you're my friend or whatever. I got a seat for you. I'm thinking of you. I'm going to make sure I have my own seat first, but I'm going to make sure, or I'm going to let you know, hey, their seats are filling up, but like just, I've had a lot of friends who I allowed to be friends, or people, and I've been friends with just people in my life who I didn't feel valued. And it made me feel like, oh yeah, there's some seats over there, like, go over there. No. No. So that's like where I'm at now, where it's like I've had that, but I've always felt like that, but now I'm really like feel grounded, where it's like, I'm not going to allow any type of relations where I don't feel valued.
Yes. No, that's good.
What about you, Shadi?
Things that are important to me that I've learned through my 20s. I've had this whole time to think, and now I'm over here like struggling.
I'm like, did I answer the question?
I think so.
Okay.
I feel like
Okay.
But I just like whatever happened in the shift, like what's been important or changed, like so I think for me, authenticity has always been important. I really appreciate when people are just themselves, even if they feel like I like to be me. So and if I go somewhere and I'm laughing and somebody looks at me like, girl, calm down, like this is where we're at, it's just like no, like I'm always going to be me. That's been who I was from high school, and that still carries into my 20s. Sometimes I am hesitant, but I'm also reading the room, but for the most part I'm always going to be me. Right. So authenticity, honesty, I feel like that is something that I value through time. And honesty is something that everybody should, not really, maybe not honesty, because honesty has always been important. Maybe integrity. has become more important through my 20s. That it's like, some people haven't been honest, and they may have gone through things in their life where they want to hold back. Okay, I'm going to give you your grace, but I'm also going to be paying attention to your integrity. Is this who you are? Is this how you constantly carry yourself? Integrity is very important to me, so I'm not going to show up somewhere and be fake to fit the environment. Like, well, unless it's to my advantage, but for the most part, if I'm just going to give an example of, like, I'm not about to be, no, that's not.
You're talking like code switching?
Yeah, code switching is like, that's beneficial. Okay, yeah. But for the most part, it's just like, having integrity within me is going to reflect to other people.
Right.
So when I've experienced people that don't have that, I just see you in a different light. And so I just have to make sure I maintain through, like, what I've seen and what I've experienced. It's just like, no, integrity is very important to me, and I need to honor everything honor everything for myself. Do my 20s. Hey. I think confidence has definitely shifted through my 20s. And honoring that where it goes into self-worth of, I've always just gone through different things with my confidence, but sometimes just still, even when I'm feeling at my low, it's like looking in the mirror and just being like, girl, what? You look good. Like, it could be just as simple as that. Like, you look good. Or complimenting, like, having confidence in who I am to the core and honoring that as well, where it's like, you are a little weird. Girl, you're weird. And like whatever the case would be. What else has been important to me? Relationships have been very important to me through time. Like familial relationships, platonic relationships, romantic. Romantic relationships are very important.
Yes.
Just the 20s have been a little interesting when it comes to that, but the 20s have been interesting when it comes to that. I feel like those are probably not the main things that have shifted, but communication's always been important.
Yes.
So I feel like that's definitely shift. I think with communication, learning how important and how I want it, not how I want it to look, but just
what you need.
Yeah, what I need. And like with communicating with certain people where it's like, okay, you're giving me nothing. So I'm going to let you be you, but that does not work for me.
Right.
I think that's also shifted in my 20s, allowing people to just, this is who you are at this moment. Whether you are healing, I'm healing, I'm going to let you be, and not judging them, because I don't want to be judged. So just letting, and sometimes I feel like I give some people way more grace than the average, but empathy. So so I'm going from communication to grace to empathy. And empathy has something that's just been a core value since I was young. But going through the 20s, it's like, oh snaps, I've been humbled a few times. I can only imagine what this person is going through. So I'm going to extend grace. Who knows? Either extend grace or empathize with them in a certain way, because I think that's just really important to allow people to come back around and trust you and feel safe with you, and like I want to feel safe with people. I want to feel safe with people, so I've tried to develop an environment that you can feel safe with me, and if you don't, like, that just hurts my heart. I think those are the things that have like shifted.
I want to add something to mine, because you was spinning. I was like, oh my gosh, yes. For me, what also have shifted, which is a big thing, is people pleasing.
Oh yeah.
I used to be a big people pleaser. Just how can, like, how can I serve? How can I help? How can I I'm, it's being like, especially like being really intuitive, like feeling somebody's energy. Let me fix it because I don't want to feel this or whatever. Like, just being like freaking Mother Teresa. I have really shifted out of that because it damaged me in a lot of ways. It halted me. And now it's like shifting and taking that power back has been really, really good because, especially with like just having a distorted view of like, I'm trying to figure out myself. I'm trying to, see how this works or whatever. I know, like I put my self-worth lower and then other people's more, and especially because I'm like, I'm trying to figure myself out, so I wasn't trying to put myself out there like that. Like, I was just kind of like, it was like a sensitive thing. So like basically not focus on myself, let me help other people so it can make me feel or seem like I'm something or important or whatever, all that stuff. So that has definitely shifted. Like a lot of my and I know we're gonna talk about this another time, but a lot of my ways of making myself small and digestible for people has shifted, and realizing that there is just in the different levels. Like, it's not like, one day it shifted. Like, it was like maybe at 20 I was like, I make myself small in this way, and then thinking I'm good, and then it happens again, like, all that. But like, that's something that I've been working on over and over, and realizing people who don't make me feel small, and who really push me to be me, and then people who are very comfortable and who are comfortable and make me feel small and make me want to feel smaller and pigeonhole me there. And then also, I don't know if I said this, but like being passionate has shifted, and it's like when I was younger, like I always was like, a passionate person and everything, but like just diving into being passionate and just being that creative has shifted. Because when I was younger, it was like something I kept in the closet. Like, it was just like, I like doing it. What do you like to do? I like to write. Shh, don't tell nobody. Then it shifted into like, no, like, I really like this. I want to tell people I really like this. You like it? Okay. So it was like that has shifted into me being a creative and being proud of that, and stepping into like that area. Because I thought like, since I'm not I wanted to be a photographer. But anyway, so like since I'm not a photographer or a painter or, just some type of visual, something I can show or whatever, or I haven't been doing it since I was all these years that I wasn't. So
the question my sister always asks when it comes to passion, just to interject really quick, she'll always say, if money wasn't involved, would you still do it? And so that is always where that question is like, if money wasn't involved, would I still do this? Yes, I'm passionate about it.
Right. And just allowing that to be that has been something that has shifted or become important to me in my 20s. And there was something else. People pleasing, passion. This is something really random. It's not the thing I was thinking about, but I kind of like, I feel like this version of me got lost in my 20s, but it's coming back. Music has been very important, because like in high school, like I was like a music head.
That's true.
A music head. And just you go into different things, kind of lost that, but like a little bit lately I've been getting back into that, especially with teaching and all that stuff. But like even last night just really made me think like, I really do love music.
Yes.
I really do love that.
Me too. I've been getting into it a little more too.
Right, and it's fun. Sure. And like so connecting with people I used to connect with people over just music.
Yeah, you did it in the dorms too.
Yeah, right. And it was like, whatever, but now it's like it's been creeping up here, and it just made me think like, I really, really do want to do more things with music. Yeah. Not like, being a singer or anything like that, but just like going to more music focused events. Like that's fun. Like being social.
Yeah.
And it's increments. But being social is something else in my later 20s that I have embraced.
Yeah, being social, but also for me, it's like being social, but a balance of my solitude.
Right.
My solitude is extremely important. If I need it, I need it. No one has ever really questioned that though, because they just be like, okay, this is you. So we're just gonna let you be.
Yeah.
I think they get more shocked when I am social, but still, just those two things. But definitely the people pleasing. I feel like that could also be why I feel very liberated in this year, because coming to the realization, and you said something in regards to it of like, oh, I'm giving and blah, 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 blah. I think what I thought it was, because I was like, I'm not a people pleaser. I don't even know what that means. In college, selfless was like, I was like, no, I'm a selfless person.
Yeah.
I'm doing this for them. And then when I think about how my love languages have shifted as well, there was a major lack of acts of service, words of affirmation. And it was like, I'm giving all of this to these people. And whenever, however.
Right.
And it was like, you're people pleasing.
Yeah.
Like, and then going to therapy. That shifted. I made it to therapy in my 20s. Praise the Lord. I made it to therapy.
Yep.
But yeah.
That's whew. No, yeah. I think for me my last question.
Okay.
Since you brought that up, how did your love language shift?
My love language when I came in to Cal State LA, it was quality time, and I want to say words of affirmation still. I want to say it was quality time because I was in a relationship. And I spent a lot of time with him, and when he left and it was long distance, that kind of just disappeared. And then I want to say getting involved in the organizations and meeting new people, trying to set a different tone for who I was outside of San Diego, just discovering my identity was like, okay, I want these friends. I want to know these people. Yeah, I'll do that for you. Yeah, we want to go out Thursday, Friday, Saturday, every single weekend. Yes, I'll drive. Duh.
Yeah.
You need anything? Like,
I got it.
So it was very, like, it shifted. Then that it's like acts of service, of course, because I would love for this to be done for me. Wasn't really getting it, but I thought it was like, okay, from high school, people looked at me in this way, and that was all of my childhood, like trauma and bullying and all this other stuff, that I'm like, these people don't even know me. So now I'm going to set a different tone, and I think that not even propelled, but expanded my people pleasing to a different audience and a different degree. And so my love language went from acts of service and still words of affirmation. Because I think I was like OD complimenting people. I mean, they were all very, very genuine. So, and then now, I also like distanced myself when I was going through healing stuff. So when people were like caught, like there was a time when I wanted to learn the sorority's love language. Remember when I was like, I need to know all of y'all's love languages. And everybody's was quality time but me. But who knows? It could have been me going through a healing thing that I'm like, I don't want to be around y'all.
Right.
Like, I don't want to be around anybody.
Right.
And then now I live alone. And so I have this like, I don't want to talk to me all day. Like, I want to be around people that love me. And then I would spend a lot of time with my family because they're in this side of LA. And so I'm spending time with my sister. I'm spending time with my niece and my nephew, and like being able to be around that family. And then when I did reconnect, because there was a moment where it was like, not that we weren't friends, but just a disconnect. We moved, and it was like,
we're both going through shit.
Yeah, all of us. We're just like, we've been roommates for how long? Let's just take a moment from each other.
Yeah.
So I think, and then starting a new job, and with that new job, people were mixing friendship and business, and I'm like, I've never been in a workplace where you want to hang out with me. Where we worked. They were like, we can't be friends with you. So I think that's what's shifted my love language back to quality time. That's like, I am alone. I do want to spend time with the people that care about me and love me. With the words of affirmation, honestly, we don't need to go all into that because I feel like it's just rocky. It's still there, but it's very, very weird. It's very weird. So I think I'm in between all of the languages.
Yeah.
But the one that always is at the bottom is the gifts and the the touch.
Yeah.
And stuff.
Yeah. I guess I'm supposed to answer.
Yeah.
So mine has always been the top one, quality time. So that hasn't changed of like when it's like, oh, what's your it's always been quality time. How I perceive quality time has shifted. Before it was external. It was really like with, you know, if you want to show that you're that I value, like I'm valuable, which is still there, but it's like at the time it was like, you need to show me quality time. I need to hang out with you. We got to hang out, or like, you know, call me or you know, I need to feel like you wanted me in your space and energy and stuff like that. And that's just from like, you know, how my upbringing was. Like we were very close as family. So it's like my mind is like the people who I'm calling family now are people who I'm feeling like family. Like we spend time with each other all the time. Like even like, you know, my freshman year, I think us having like our own rooms and all that stuff, it was weird for me to just stay in my room.
Oh yeah.
And I was like so weirded out that like you guys would just stay in your room, and I was like, what? Like I was never. Okay, let me not say never, but like it was not a thing for me to just be able to just be in my room and be to myself. So like quality time has always been something that is just innate. What has shifted though is now I'm intentionally taking time with myself. Where it's like, instead of being like, oh, because people don't want to give me quality time, I'm going to be by myself. Now it's like, I need quality time by myself. So I can be quality time with other people. Because then I got into that where I was like, oh, I'm by myself. And people are like, quality time. I was like, but I need more time to myself. So now it's like balancing out where I'm like, okay, I'm taking this time for myself. I'm doing these things for myself so I can hang out and be present and have energy, because I would lose so much energy being around other people. That's why people are like, oh, Bree never want to go out. I was just like, it was just too much, because I was not intentionally giving time to myself. So like that's what shifted the most, is that like before, instead of relying on outside sources, now I rely on myself to fill up my own cup when it comes to quality time. And then I think I fluctuated between my second one being words of affirmation and acts of service. I'm not really an acts of service person to be received. I'm naturally acts of service to give, which is something that I'm still like making sure that I don't OD on. But I feel like right now, the last time I, you know, redid it was words of affirmation. And even when it comes into like my interpersonal relationships, I like the validation. And I think when I was younger, when I first had words of affirmation, it was a problem of like needing to be validated. Now it's more like I already know and I appreciate it when I'm being seen. Get me? Like, okay, I was like, hold on, making sense. So like now that's where it shifted, where it's like I do like words of affirmation, because it's like I'm very direct when it comes to things. So if I'm Tiger wants to be he's like, I haven't been in your space for a little bit. Now I got to be there. But when it comes to words of affirmation, it's more of just like I just like to know what it is. Like I don't want to have to guess. I don't want to have to assume or anything like that. Like tell me what it is. If there's a problem, I can sense energy really well. So if there's a problem, you know, let me know. If you like me, if I'm talking to somebody new, friend or not, you know, I like to be told. Like I just like that reconfirmation. That doesn't shift my whole life. It doesn't make or break, but it is nice to like have that like reassurance. If I'm doing a good job, tell me I'm doing a good job, because I know I'm doing a good job.
You're doing a good job.
Right.
You're doing a good job.
Exactly. But having somebody else is kind of like a okay, like it's, you know, so it's like a healthy balance now with both of them, and because I am just somebody who's very extreme, where it's like I'm either on this side or I'm on that side. Now I'm in a place of life where it's like I'm in the middle. So you know, being in this big age, and we still got 4 more years left.
We got this though. We got
this.
You know, the 20s is not that bad. Hopefully our stories, you took something away from it.
Right. I feel like I'm being very vulnerable. Oh my gosh.
Right. We're going to wrap it up. And so I think we have, like 2 segments that literally can be combined into one.
Okay.
So we're going to do hot tips.
Mm-hmm.
And hot tips is pretty much just us giving you whatever the topic is, resources regarding that, facts about it, whatever the case may be. Since 20-somethings is so broad, the tips can be personal, they can be factual, how whatever experience that we went through, and more of what I wish I knew sooner. And even if it's not what you wish you knew sooner, what you wish you knew now, if you're going through it in your 20s. For us, we are very introspective people that work on healing a lot. So if you are our age and you're like, I haven't even touched on healing whatsoever, hopefully these tips can help. They're not all healing related, but yeah. So I don't even know how to break this down because I just wrote down a whole bunch of stuff. Okay, so I guess with finances, we don't have to dive too deep into the finances, but start learning financial literacy sooner than later. And learning... Tiger's so funny. But you just learning anything...
No. I know what you're trying to do. That's why I was like, don't try to climb up here.
But yeah, just take the time to have financial literacy, learn it sooner than later, depending on what you want to do. If you are the person that wants to buy a house, then be making those steps that you need to buy a house. With credit scores, I didn't even realize I think America or North America is the only place that has credit scores. There's certain countries that don't even have credit scores. That's why I said America's a scam. But with credit scores, treat it like a game. So sometimes for me, when I started working on my credit and I kept seeing it go up, of course I don't want it to go down. So how can I figure out every single way to have it go up? With your credit cards, be paying over the minimum. If you are paying the minimum, trick the system and pay twice within the month. And with your credit cards, keep your utilization low by 10%. And somebody gave me a trick. I haven't fully got there yet, but open as many cards as you like. I know they tell you not to, but you can open a lot of cards, take advantage of the perk and pay it off. Make sure if you are opening those cards, you have the money to pay it off.
Right.
And then just keep the utilization low, because sometimes opening the card does boost your score. And then for me, sometimes I be getting confused. Yes, I don't even know what I was going to say, but I get confused. So taxes, I get very confused with taxes. Even when somebody tells me what to do, I thought I did it right and I didn't. So for people that are on a payroll, going to 9 to 5, just entering the workforce, make sure you put single 0. Because I don't know what I put, and I don't, they told me when it was time. And I don't need nobody on here that knows me, judging me, coming back around, talking about me, because we live and we learn. All right? Thank you. And what else? Oh, I think also with like money, my last point with money, enjoy your 20s for sure, but don't get reckless because it will bite you in the butt later. So spend, take care of yourself, treat yourself, but don't treat yourself so much that your savings is literally at $1, your checkings is literally at $1. You need an emergency fund, but have fun, travel, spend on experiences. I'm not gonna tell you what to do with your money, but if you do want to explore the world and just different things, spend on experiences rather than material. And find little hacks, thrifting, there's a lot of different things that I've learned within my 20s. Thrifting was not a 20s thing, that was just a plug. So did you have any finances before I keep going?
Finances, savings, make sure that you have a savings, always take 10%, whatever you can, towards savings. I love saving money, and that's like with credit score, make it a game. Make it where it's like, oh, I get to add more. Oh, I get to add more, instead of being like, I have to take money out for savings. Like, it's a lot of fun to build that up and to forget about it. And then when you are in a bind or whatever, you're like, oh snap, I have savings. So that's
set a goal.
Set a goal.
I get to 5,000?
Exactly. Set that goal and always keep making it more. So I think that's my main thing with finances is always like have a goal setting with savings, and then for healing, the other stuff that you were saying, I would just say like take the time to figure yourself out. Like take the time to really unlearn and like put yourself in not put yourself in situations, but like try new things. Like don't be afraid to try new things. And also solitude is really great. And especially if you're someone who is categorized as an extrovert and you feel like you need to be around other people to feel alive or whatever, introverted or extroverted, but especially with that, like take the time to identify who you are when no one else is around and go through that journey. And then the last part is healing is not linear. There'll be days where you're on fire and there'll be days where you're just can't get out of bed. Give yourself grace.
Yes, for sure. With healing can go so deep, so I'm gonna do a general healing and then I guess break it down by my personality and whatever you resonate with. So definitely therapy if you can't afford it. I found at a time I couldn't afford it, I went through the Loveland Foundation, and they give you a voucher. They'll put you in a certain cohort if you've been approved. Sometimes it takes some time, but they'll give you a voucher and you'll find a therapist that will take the voucher, and I believe it's like 4 sessions. So that's what got me into therapy, and I found my therapist through openpathcollective.org. And then there's also therapy for Black girls. And with Open Path Collective, they are based on like income, so they will cater to that. It's like a $60 charge that you just are enrolled with, but whatever therapist you find, it just shows different ranges of how much you can contribute. And for the most part, some of the therapists are pretty understanding that you don't have to go through every single week. Some might, depending on the type of therapist you get, just to figure out who you are, if they need to diagnose anything. But definitely explore that if you do want to go to therapy. You don't have to be going through a traumatic time to go through therapy. You can be as blissful as day and just want to learn about yourself. So highly recommend therapy. If you cannot afford therapy, I highly recommend putting a pen to a paper, pencil to paper, whatever the case may be, and journal. Even if it doesn't have to be every day, and just let it out. You can have a gratitude journal talking about all of the good things. You can have a regular journal talking about all of the secrets, and just pretend that you're talking to somebody. It could be you, it could be anybody, like just Dear Diary, like Dear Diary. So that helped me in my healing, and I did a lot of my own research, googling things. If it was people pleasing, let me look up the definition and then unpack it by writing about it. And reflections have also helped with my healing. Every year I reflect. There was a time that every month, at the end of the month, I reflect what was good, what was bad, how have I changed, where am I going, how can I improve, whatever. You can literally make up your own reflection process, and mine is made up as it goes. I find different people on social media that might inspire a prompt, or I take what I've learned from my family, and that just gets me centered and grounded when it feels like the world is on fire. Like, let me reflect. What's going on? Let me reflect on the good things, bad things, etc.
Can I add to that real quick? Yeah. When you were saying that, it was something I was like, I'm going to just say this too. It's like learning your own energy. Yeah. Because it's like when you're writing and when you're doing like everything you said, like you're writing to somebody else, or you're just with the healing journey, like really just pay attention to like how you feel and just who you are. I just think it's, especially in your 20s, this is the time. This is the time. Like you're always going to be growing and everything, but like just really just allow yourself to figure it out. Like I just think it's so good. For sure. And like coming back to your body and all that. Like,
for sure. I think, I told somebody, I forgot what it was, but how I look at learning about yourself, it can feel like you're dancing with the devil, because it's just like, oh my gosh, I do not want to look at that dark side of me, or I don't want to learn that about me. I don't want to unlearn that about me or my family or whatever. And so I feel like sometimes people avoid it, and they might do different things just so they don't have to see them.
Right.
And I feel like with that avoidance, that's when you're actually dancing with the devil. So just take the time to like, that's an extreme like analogy, but no, yeah, like I feel like you're really facing it head on when you look at yourself and try to work on yourself and go through these 20s not just mindlessly. Like,
right.
I don't recommend going through it mindlessly. Have fun, but still be mindful in certain areas.
You made me think of something where it's like that I have to continuously remind myself. You are a reflection of the people who are around you.
Yes, that's it.
So. Oh, okay. Yes. Okay. Look at us.
Great minds think alike.
Being in with being in alignment and everything. Like when you see what's something I do. When I see something about somebody, especially on social media or whatever, you meet somebody, they're so cool. They're this. I like this about them. I can only know that because I already have it.
Yes.
Because it's familiar. Yes. So it's like even the bad things. Oh, they do this. You could spot that out. How can you spot that out so easily?
Right.
And I question myself on that. So it's like the good and the bad, but especially like we're so easy being able to go to the bad. But like when it comes to the good, I realize there's a lot of things about people that I like was like, oh my gosh, they're so kind, they're so sweet, they're so adventurous, they're so passionate, they're so all these things, and it's like me.
And if
like,
you're not there yet, you have the time to
get
you're
there.
Spotting it.
Right, but it's like at least like recognize when you spot it, it's like, okay, like it does take time for you to build that confidence of like, oh no, that is within me. Yeah. But just really realizing like, oh snap. Honestly, we don't realize how much we like ourselves, like deep down. Sure. So when you see something about somebody else, you're really just seeing how much you like yourself. So that's what I take it as, like how much I like myself when I see other people.
I love that. Okay, so
Black girl self-care.
No. I'm still like breaking certain things down, but I guess to piggyback on healing, the 4 Agreements is a really, really good book. And with my healing, the 4 Agreements are, be impeccable with your word, don't take things personal, don't make assumptions, and always do your best. When I was going through my healing, the 2nd agreement was the biggest agreement ever. Do not take things personal. Sometimes you realize things that people might project are just onto you, like their anger or whatever they're going through, it has everything to do with them, not you. And you could also be projecting as well. So definitely work on not taking things personal and realize that has nothing to do with me. Like, unless it really does, for the most part, it has nothing to do with me. And when you piggyback the 3rd agreement, which is do not make assumptions, put those 2 together and it helps you block out a lot. And I think that's my adding to healing. For my introverts, I will say get out and get to know people, explore. Don't be confined just to your solitude. Make friends, make good friends. That was not for introverts. Move out of your hometown. I don't even know if that's for introverts, but just anybody. Yeah. I highly suggest moving out of your hometown. Your home will always be your home. And when you change your environment, you learn a lot. You get out of your comfort zone, and you learn a lot about yourself when you change your environment. And for perfectionists, I have a point for my perfectionist people out there. Explore your creative adventures. The perfectionists that are creatives, explore your creative adventures. They may be hobbies, where we are. They may be business ventures. Explore them. Do not worry about perfection. Perfection is the enemy of progress. And you'll find like your people. You'll find your support team. You'll find you'll find your support system, and the only person you need to think about is you end it. Don't rely too much on them. But those are the only things that you need to think about. You're in competition with yourself.
Boom.
That's it, and that's all. What else stood out to me from what I wrote down? Do not compare yourself, for sure. Do not compare yourself to anybody. Everybody's a mess. So whatever people are posting on Instagram, social media, like, everybody is going through their own thing. So work on not comparing yourself and just enjoy life as it is. Be like, that word just seems very simple, but it's also a state. So if you're going to say, I'm going to be happy, be happy. If you're going to say, I'm whatever the case may be, like, it's a choice and it's a state. And I think those have helped me through my 20s. Network, build your bridges. Unpopular opinion, you might have to worry about your reputation depending on where you want to go. Might be an unpopular opinion, but I definitely would say, depending on the kind of business venture you want, worry about your reputation, support people, and set boundaries, and have healthy levels of detachment. The rules are made up. These are all little notes. If you need to write it down, you know. You have any little notes?
Girl, you was on a roll. I'm just gonna let you have that.
No, I mean, it's still hot tips.
No. I was just saying, you was on it, so you.
I know. I like looked at some and I was like, oh, these are so, love it. So yeah, just want to share what stood out to me and has helped me through my 20s.
Yeah. Yes, that was, you was spitting. I was just like, spit that game.
Yes.
Talk your shit.
But yes, now
self-care. You know, I want to challenge, well, not challenge, but self-care for me, what I want to do is just allow myself to take breaks without feeling shame.
That's your self-care this week?
Yeah.
Take breaks without feeling shame.
Or like, just when I'm tired, like, if I need to be a day to just be tired in bed, be tired in bed. Like, I've fallen into the capitalism of being productive.
Oh, yeah.
Even on my supposed to be lazy days, I'm like, okay, but I need to do something. It's a trap. Like, it's such a trap. So, and I'm so hard on myself, so I'm trying to, when I need to have rest, rest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. My Black girl self-care for what, the week?
Sure.
Weekend? I don't know. I want to finish the book that I have. So I'm reading Atomic Habits, and
so I can read it. Thanks.
Yes, exactly. Because I want to make room to try to finish 2 books within a month. We'll see how I do.
You'll do it.
And I've been walking and reading. A superpower, I've heard. So I just want to...
I don't understand how you do it.
I just want to stick to that and take care of myself and just read, enjoy the book, actually apply the book. I think there's other things I need to take care of.
Yeah, but we're just going to take it one step at a time.
At a time. Get through this week.
Just get through. Because I still have a whole weekend.
Yeah.
Whew, all right.
So, yeah, I think
that
is it. Protect your energy.
Yes, protect your energy.
For your energy.
For your gang. I wish I remember how to do the sign language G, but protect your energy for your energy.
Right. And thank you for listening. If you rocked with us for like 2 hours.
What?
The episodes won't be this long.
Always. But today we had a lot to say.
Today, yes, we wanted to open it up and just have you get a feel of who we are, what we're going to talk about. If you liked it, definitely subscribe.
Yes.
Subscribe. If you're a visual person, the video is on YouTube. If you are an audio person, we are on all the platforms for the podcast. So subscribe on the top 2, Spotify and Apple. But thank you.
Thank you. Share. Yes. Let us know, give us feedback, what you thought, any questions or anything.
Yes, if you do have questions,
put it in the comments on YouTube or like.
I don't think they need. They're not about to expose their questions on the comments.
They can. Or the Instagram.
Oh yeah, you can like DM us for sure, or email thecheckin@gmail.com. That's what the email is. Email thecheckin@gmail.com.
And our Instagram is thecheckin.podcast.
Yes, so follow us, share, and thank you.
Yeah, see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time.